Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Football Fan Zone podcast. We've been on a international break. That's all I can call it. We've been on a hiatus. Some of us went back to our home countries to go play against Moldova, against Malta, against Democratic Republic of Congo, etc. And
South Africa.
Bro, wait,
ironically, we're all
you
Nigerian, and so we're international break was not kind to us at all. So the earlier we get past the break, the better. But we're back. Um, it's been a very interesting start to the league so far. Very interesting, close to the window. So we have a lot to get into, a lot to recap. And I'm sure you guys have all missed our witty and banter-filled reviews. So we're gonna get right into it. First, I'm checking on the crew. Adams, everything good? You good? Good spirits? Are you still arguing about offsides online? Everything
Yeah,
good?
today I'm repping the Black Cats today, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
See. I always tell Adams he's the first to run. The smallest sign of discomfort is the first to plan a vacation. Nugu has been on the pod before. I don't think we actually put out the episode. We put out clips of it.
Yeah.
So it would be good for you to reintroduce yourself to the audience. So the thing that we do for the first official intro is how you started supporting your team. We're actually talking about this backstage, so that's what prompted us to start recording. So how did you start supporting your team? Who you consider your biggest rivals? And you say something nice and something not so nice. And then we'll get back into the show.
Okay, so like Chris said, I think I've been on the show one time. Even though he basically he told my appearance on the show, that's a joke. But essentially, Nogua, how did I support Arsenal? Like most young Nigerian Arsenal fans, it probably had something to do with way back. So I'm dating myself here, obviously, but obviously had something to do from way back then, Kanwanko. So I literally started supporting football as just a Nigeria fan with my dad, like the Super Eagles, we were supporting the Super Eagles. And then I realized that there's football that happens between when Super Eagles play, and I want to support a team that plays in between those periods that Super Eagles play. And so I thought, okay, who's the Super Eagle I like? Oh, there's this guy Kanwanko. Where does he play? Oh, this team called Arsenal just bought him. I'm like, oh, okay. So let's go check them out. And accidentally, Arsenal then wins the league, and it's like, okay, you know what? I found a home. And then bam. So I've been a Gunner since then. And yeah, my biggest rivals, it's interesting because I'm part of that group of, I would say, worldwide global fans, where in London, of course, everybody knows our biggest rivals. Traditionally, everybody knows it's Spurs. And so I hate them. And I guess I'll just stay traditional for this episode. So I'll say it's Spurs. What do I hate about them? I hate almost everything. They irritate me a little bit. But what do I like about them? And I'll say this even though it as banter. I like the fact that they're my baby brother. Like no matter how much they hustle, like when it's like your baby brother is trying to fight you, it's like, yeah, okay, fine, yeah, you got one hit in, fine. But yeah, so that's what I love about Spurs. And, yeah.
Yeah, so as y'all can see from his banner, he's already on smoke. He's already on smoke. So, but I love it. I mean, for the first time, I feel like I can go toe to toe. I got my coach now. Don't worry, I'm ready to talk. And of course, you guys know we dragged George from the pit of hell, Red Devil in hell. We didn't let George go. I told y'all that Judge was trying to make that his last appearance for the season, but we said nah. Before it gets worse to the point that you're in 18th and we can't talk about you anymore, we must drag you here to answer for your crimes. George, how you feeling? George has actually made some big life moves. So how you feeling? How's the island, bro?
Man, Island is good, just adjusting, but school's been going good. So, it's been a smooth transition, honestly. As for the other part of my life, which is this team, bro, I don't know what else to do, bro. Like I really don't know what else to do. Like so, but I'm just managing, just watching from the sidelines. I haven't been usually I'm always texting and talking about the team, but this season I have been calm, just watching from the sidelines. So, but so far, everything's been good. So I appreciate it.
When it's a bad season, you'll be feeling like you're already 10 weeks into this. It's only 4 weeks. It's already talking like we've had 18 match weeks.
Yep. Some ways.
That's how you know it's been a tough season. But
Yeah,
real quickly, we're gonna try to recap some of what happened the last match week that we haven't been able to get to, and as well as the transfer window. So what I'll do is starting with Nuguak as is our guest, just recap kind of the last fixture. We know you guys went to Anfield, lost 1-0 to a screamer. Many were touting that as some type of title decider, maybe not title decider, but title preview, because your closest competitors in Liverpool, these kind of 6-pointers or matches that we're going to reflect on towards the end of the season. So, what did you make of that fixture? Also, I want you to recap your transfer window, give it a rating. Were there any players that you wanted to see come through the door that you didn't get to see? What business do you think you need to do in January, etc.? And then get into the fixture for this week and what you made of it. And I think Arsenal 3-0 beating Ange Postecoglou. So that's going to be an interesting review. Yeah. So turning it over to Nugo, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess starting first of all with the visit to Anfield, the faded title preview, if you will. It was funny because going into that game, a lot of Arsenal fans didn't know what to think. But one thing across both fan bases, like if you scour the online spaces, one thing across both fan bases is we were both angry that that game was coming so soon, being the third game of the season. And that's just because in our minds, especially as Arsenal, they have the same thing as well. Like they've not gotten all the parts that they added in the summer properly, indoctrinated into the Liverpool way. We haven't done the same thing for our guys at Arsenal, even though we feel, at least now with hindsight of yesterday's game, that we are actually clicking into gear with a lot of these new parts, these new signings, if you will, right? But the point is, in our minds, we would have loved to meet Liverpool maybe like the 10th game of the season, only because in our minds, again, there's a grudge match from last year where we played 2-2 twice, but you guys don't have to agree as rivals. In our minds, we had them, especially in that first game, the one at the Emirates. And in our minds, they survived by getting that last-minute Salah 83-minute or 85-minute 2-2 and then going away because all our players got injured. We lost Gabriel in that game. We lost, everybody knows the story again. I'm not recapping that. So that's just context to say, going into Anfield, we wanted revenge. And so we hated the fact that it came that quick. Now, this is not an excuse for how we set up playing. I needed to set up that context because that is what I believe, though, played a little bit of a factor into the way Mikel Arteta set up that team. Because when you have that team, and yes, everybody's calling it 3 midfielders, but you're playing the Mikel Merino, who then goes on to score a hat trick literally the next week for Spain. And he's been doing this, right? We have the whole 26 into a 9 Drake meme in the Arsenal fan base, just because Mikel Merino has been that good. And so we loved it. We loved the fact that we went out to play the way we played. Maybe some of us would have started with an Eze as opposed to Martinelli, or maybe an Nwaneri there. Maybe that's possible, right? But I understand why Mikel went with the team he went with. It's Anfield. It's away. Everybody talks. You talk to Uzo about beating those title deciders or title previews, 6 points, as if you will, and going to your opponent's house and trying to make sure that you win there. Guess how many times Pep has won at Anfield in seasons he won the league? Just take a very wild guess, right? Take a very wild guess. Liverpool, the same Liverpool that won last year, did they win at the house of the people who came second? So the point I'm making here is there's a long history of teams winning a title and not touching the team that's second at that team's house. Getting a point is usually a good idea, especially when you're this early in the season, right? Just go, don't lose, that's fine, whatever. Now, maybe you want to argue it for 2 seasons ago when Arsenal went to the Etihad and it was later in the season, maybe I'll hear it, but early in the season, I think the setup was good. So this is all to say, to end the summary of that game, and then we can move on to the next thing. Onslaught said something I loved. He said after that game, he said, if we played this game 10 times, and you can look for the quote and you'll see it. He said, if we played this game 10 times, 8 times it's going to be a draw. 1 time Liverpool win and 1 time Arsenal win. And for me, that quote is the beginning and end of that game. We lost the Supersly screamer. I'll live, whatever. We're fine. So that's really my summary of that first game. I got a lot of positives, which for me, I was able to confirm, which is more important. I was able to confirm these positives yesterday. So yesterday being the game against Nottingham Forest. But before we get to that, I think the second thing you said was first start with the game 2 weeks ago, and then talk about the transfer window, what we think, and then January, and then the game yesterday. So I think I put a bow on the game 2 weeks ago, right, with Ancelot's philosophical quotes. He always gives us bangers, by the way. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but
He's
always
fast becoming one of my favorites. Yeah, he's up there.
he drops those very, very
He's up
Gandalf,
there.
like
He's up there.
Einstein quotes every once in a while. But so I love that about him. Anyway, so that's that on the Liverpool game. On the summer, I'll keep it quick because Uzan knows my opinion. It's kind of annoying, especially in a platform where there's rival fans. So I'll just keep it simple. I think we completed our team this summer. Let me explain what I mean by completed. This does not mean that there's zero holes. No. It means that the biggest weakness is like, as an Arsenal fan, there's something.
Adams, timestamp. We're gonna cut out the other part. They've completed their team. You got it, George?
I knew that was coming. That was why I quickly just added it. Let me explain what that means. Because I knew you were going to talk about it. But for real though, like the thing is that as an Arsenal fan, you go into every season knowing that okay, we have 4 holes and we're going to fill 3. Right? It's the N-1 history of Arsenal, right? Whatever number of problems you have, Arsenal will solve N-1 problems in that transfer window. So if you have 4 problems, Arsenal will solve 3. If you have 3 problems, Arsenal will solve 2. It is an Arsenal thing, and we've known this, and we've even we factor it into our title calculations, if you will. This is the first summer that most Arsenal fans will say rather than having an N-1 summer, we had an N summer. Now, what does that mean? Obviously, N means that maybe the player we bought for that position may end up not being as good as we hoped, or it may end up not working. But this is the first summer where, as an Arsenal fan, you're going, they addressed all the holes. And that was what was important. And so when you go on then to talk about, okay, like January, what I think we may need, I personally would still like one of Trossard and Martinelli to leave for a proper winger, a Semenyo, somebody of that sort. But in my mind, like I'm good playing Eze there till then, right? I'll keep Odegaard where he is, and instead of putting Odegaard Eze at 10, I'm good with the team as it is my point, and I'm ready to go into a title race with this team. So that's what I love about it. And I think just to finally close my points on the Nottingham Forest game yesterday, I think all that I said about the summer shows very well in the game yesterday. Because how many times would Arsenal start a game without Bukayo Saka, not have Saliba? Martin Odegaard basically gets injured, 8 minutes in? So we basically play the game without him. Havertz is injured. Even though he gets all the stake, he's still been our highest goal scorer over the last 18 months. He's out. And then all the other like new players, and then we still looked at it's not that we won. That part should be expected when you're going for a title. Is that we looked so comfortable. Is that it could have been 6. That is where I'm going. Oh yeah, we're ready for a title fight. It's not just that we won. So that's what I think.
There was a lot to pick apart there. I know George raised his eyebrow like 4 or 5 times. So I'm gonna come to the man that is gonna speak from his own pain. So I'm gonna ask you more of it. So I believe in the Nottingham Forest game, all of the goals came from new signings, right? And I think even the assist, well, besides the Trossard assist, right? I think it was G and A. Everything was from new signings. Like you mentioned, pretty much the entire spine of the team was missing in terms of Havertz. I think you started without Rice and he came on later.
Yeah.
So no Saliba, etc. So, George, from like a rival perspective, what do you make of that in terms of like when we say Arsenal has depth and the ability to go like for like in several positions? Do you feel like that might be like the advantage that they have over like a Liverpool who has this blistering attack and they outspend everybody? But do you feel like they are the more complete team? Because when you see a team basically replace 5 or 6 starters and go be dominant, against a team that is in Europe and finished in European spots last year, albeit with a new coach, I get that. But it's not like the last coach got sacked for underperforming. He just got sacked because they didn't like him. So it's still a good team. They pick them apart. All new signings contributing in goals. What do you make of that in terms of the depth? And if there's anything you want to respond to that Nugua said as well, you can address that.
Okay. I'm just going to start off with, I don't want it to leave my mind. But out of everything you said, like trust me, as I was, listening to you, I was agreeing because, you felt good and everything. But it was just the ending part where you said that it was beating Nottingham Forest is the reason why you feel like you guys can go compete for the title. I mean, out of all the teams, like, Nottingham Forest, they just fired the manager, right? They just brought in a new manager. And the manager, look at the way he plays. It's like he's playing into your hands. That game should not be the game that makes you feel like, oh, yeah, we need to go compete for the title. Like, okay, let's go back to the game one of the season, right? Did you feel comfortable after that game when you play United? Like, did you feel like, okay, no,
I
I'm just
knew this was coming.
No, because I didn't want to respond initially because I thought like I wanted to give you time to like do your whole spiel. But
no, I mean,
that's not necessarily what I said. So let me just clarify there. What I said was it wasn't so much that we won, because like I said, I expected us to be forced. It was how comfortable we were beating them without all those players. So it's a combination of not the score, but the fact that it should have been six, and we basically had like five players who would start a Champions League final for us out of the team, and we still go on and do that. That's what it is. If we won 1-0 yesterday, for example, or won the way we beat United in the first game, I wouldn't say it.
Okay. No, I mean that's a better perspective. I should have looked at it that way. You know, like saying like you can bring out your starters or like your main players, have them out, and still go play Nottingham Forest and delete them the way you guys did. Okay, that's fair. That's a fair point. But
Ange tax.
it's just the way, I guess, like the way I heard it at first when you said after that game, maybe felt like okay, we're comfortable to go win the title. I don't think that was. But anyways, back to what Uzo was saying. I mean, I've always said this. Last year, I felt like Arsenal, to me, needed that striker. They needed a player like Gyökeres that can come in, just score random goals and win them like those random games where you're like, okay, like Arsenal needs to produce something right now to win a game. And I think Gyökeres is the perfect striker. You see the way he plays. He's just a hungry, like he doesn't care about nothing but scoring a goal. Like he doesn't care about completed passes or the way he controls the ball. He just find me the ball and I'm gonna try to score or go for you. And I think the way you guys went about this season, and honestly, after watching Mosquera, the game against Forest, I said, man, Arsenal, the signings you guys did, this is incredible because to have a player like Mosquera playing for Saliba and just look, he looks. You didn't even notice that Saliba was gone. And like I think like those little things, it's like when it comes down to it, like game week 30, 28, 27, when players are tired or this and this is happening, suspensions, you're gonna have those players step in to win you those games. And I think Arsenal, like just having that squad depth is what I think can put them over Liverpool. But I'm still not convinced yet, but I do think like it's literally a coin toss at this moment. So I think you guys can do it, and I think it's just because like that signing of Gyökeres is gonna make that big difference because previously you guys never had a striker. I never had faith in Arsenal, but signing that striker, to me, strikers win the league. Like I don't care what anybody says. If you have a gunman, he's gonna help you win the league, and you guys have one. So good luck.
He doesn't really mean that good luck, by the way.
I know
as we all know, George is notorious for drinking Arsenal tears. He's just setting you up for come end of the season receipts. Adams, for you, I think same thing. Just if you have anything to address, but the one point I want you to also address is, do you feel that because you love these kinds of comparisons, do you feel that Arsenal or Liverpool are the front runners? And I know that's gonna detonate something once you say your answer, but I do want to say that because I think I've had some arguments about this, and there's a way I feel. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I think it's Arsenal. I think it's Arsenal.
Thank you.
If you look at the way, like we've all said it, man, the business they did this window, it felt like they covered all the holes. They got really good squad players that could come in on any day and do the business. They got Madueke from us. That's a whole nother discussion. And really good player. I feel like he's
world-class potential, right?
Again, I try to tell you. World-class potential, world-class talent. He kind of went under the radar a little bit. I don't know if that's because of just his own doing, but just coming out of Spurs, going to PSV, I felt like he did really well, and I was surprised that a lot of teams didn't notice him because he was balling. He was balling out there, and he made that jump to Chelsea. Obviously, he came when we had a lot of trouble, but you could still see it. I remember when Frank Lampard was like the coach, he was one of the best players during that period, and we were really bad. And even Arsenal fans remember we went to Emirates. I think we lost like what 3-1. He was like our best player on that day. So he has always showed.
Or in that game, if I remember as well.
Yeah, he scored. He scored his first Premier League goal, and so he's ready. He's ready. England international as well. We saw what he did over the international break. So really good signing for them. And George talked about Mascara. Yeah, man. How did they get that guy for what 13 or 15 million? It's incredible business.
It's called Valencia being broke.
Yeah,
They're still in the Stone Ages. They probably think that's big money.
Bro, that's crazy, man. Like
That's why we got him.
Like we need an
Is that what?
interest into that business.
That's why we
Like,
got him, not according to Ornstein anyway. Leipzig were going to pay more. That's what Ornstein said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the whole rubbish we do where James got clowned for it on Twitter, but it's the truth. If you talk to a player and make yourself the only destination of the player, and they tell that to the club, because that part is important, there's nothing the club will do. In fact, to get the confirmation that Ornstein was not capping, go check Valencia's actual goodbye publication on their actual Twitter. They literally write, we did everything to keep him, but when the player has decided what he wants, I'm paraphrasing, but it was essentially basically when he has decided what he wants to do and to go where he wants to, there's nothing we can do.
Is Mascara a Spanish international? What nation is he from?
Yeah, I think he's
from
Spanish.
Spain. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Arteta.
So is the Mikel? Okay, is the cartel? No. Okay,
and then Andrea Berta, who is now a sporting director, obviously was at Atletico.
Atleti,
so
right,
in fact, this is where it actually came from. Atletico were the ones chasing him last year. And so literally it was because we got Berta and he went, there's a kid in Valencia. Real Madrid wants him for free next year. Don't let him go for free. Pay the money now and do not let anything. And we just went, okay, I guess you are correct. And he ended up right. That was what happened.
Yeah, he's looked really good. And credit to them. But this Andrea Beta thing, man, I started hearing his name just too many times. I remember the last one.
It's only Arsenal fans.
Bro.
Well, it's not only them, but they're up there.
Yeah,
I didn't know the guy's name the whole time he was at Atleti. I
didn't know who he was too.
I didn't know who was getting him all those Pablo Barrios and all these guys. But once they come to Prem, these guys become stars. It's the same thing with our referees, bro. We make a star out of everybody. The kit man, set piece coach, the assistant. Who's that one assistant that at what club was that? That is always trying to
Jason
shake the hand
Tindo.
first.
Newcastle, right?
What's happening? You don't have two managers. Like, when did
We
start
make
this
a
one?
star out of everybody in this thing. This is why it's the
Even,
best league.
even Arsenal's own Jover. What's his name?
Yeah, Nico Jovic.
Oh yeah, Jover has the whole show. Like he has his own cult on TikTok. Like there's literally a subsection of Arsenal fans. They call themselves the set pieces, whatever the fuck that means. I'm sorry, I don't know this.
No.
Like,
Go ahead.
literally, it's like
the funniest reaction from Jover that I've seen was after the Declan Rice free kick against Real Madrid. They panned to him as if he designed that. Could you design that? What could you have done on the training ground to design that, my guy? You see him over there hugging and celebrating. Guy, this is a set piece, but I don't know what kind of bonus he gets.
It's the year of the set piece coaches, man. And you know the new Brentford coach, Keith Andrews. He used to be a set piece coach.
Yes. And those long throw-ins, my goodness. I'm sure you're seeing them in your nightmares. I'm sure you're seeing what's his name's armpits every time. Oh my goodness. But no, I it's funny because like we all knew football was headed here. It's been overly tactical in the last decade or so. Yeah. So you knew the more we move towards like a tactical part of our game, the more kind of American footballized our sport will become. I don't hate it. Funny enough, I'm one of the few people I don't hate it. I don't know why no one else had thought of this on the scale. And maybe credit to Mikel because he's probably the one that has brought it to the mainstream as much as it's been. But it almost makes you think, well, what is the job of a manager if you're not taking care of all these, minor like between the margins kind of details to give your team the best advantage? Why not? Yeah. I was watching West Ham when we played them. This is the most jarring thing ever, right? Because as a Spurs fan, knowing that was me for the last 2 years, I'm reading their tweets and they're like, fuck's sakes, every time they get a corner, I'm losing my head. I'm like, that's how I used to feel. And now we're doing this to other teams. So it's absolutely brilliant. But
you're exactly right. You know, I don't know what Adams will say about this, because I know, at least on my Twitter, that there were a huge bunch of Chelsea fans clowning us over the last 2 years being a set piece team. And this season, you know, if you look at the set piece table, of course, Arsenal will always. But there's a team that's, you know, in blue in West London that's right up there this season. So they figured out their own set piece thing, and suddenly they're not clowning anymore. And I'm wondering what happened. Like, I used to hear a lot of clowning about being a set piece team. This team is not clowning anymore. So who knows? Maybe some people after
if you can't beat them, join them, man. If you can't beat them, join them.
Nah, the whole thing about the set piece thing is like teams always play that way. Just like Arsenal, just like we've had teams play that way, but Arsenal just make theirs look ridiculous, and it's just like they do too much. Like we don't see
all that, like the choreographed movements.
Bro, I agree with it, bro. I agree with what you're saying.
It is one thing I'll say.
Let me give my rebuttal to they do too much. Arsenal, since the start of last season, it's like what? I think now the gap is almost double digits between us and the next team for set piece goals. If you add the 2 goals yesterday as set piece goals, I think the gap is double digits. So maybe we do too much. I'm not going to disagree, but it's obviously working. That's all I'm saying.
It didn't work enough. It didn't work enough.
Your
goal is to win the title. So if you didn't accomplish that, it didn't work enough.
It doesn't mean that tool is bad. When you're going on a journey, right? Maybe you need a gun to kill some rogues who you meet on the way, but you also need food, you also need water. So you need things for different things.
Bro, what were you like?
We need to get other things. You're correct. But that set piece is working perfectly.
So now he said they've completed it. So they've got the food, they got the rope, the mat, and the Bible. So we're ready to survive the island. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Yeah, so I think to kind of put the ball on Arsenal, from my perspective, I thought the window was brilliant. And I agree with you, Adams. I think they are the front runners. They're the favorites for the title. And the reason why is because you can't pull the wool over my eyes. I know Liverpool spent more, but I also see the net spend. They got a lot of big names out for big fees. Arsenal only added. And I know you can say maybe Partey, I'm being disingenuous because he left for free and he was a big integral piece of the team. But even if you added him, Liverpool still lost more kind of like important players in their team from my perspective that they had to replace. So when I look at the net spend and then I look at the targeted spending, like in terms of completion, Liverpool ended up not getting Gueye over the line. For me, that's a huge signing that failed that would have maybe put them either on the same level or just above Arsenal in terms of the league. So I'm looking at the teams and I'm looking at the depth that Arsenal have. And realistically, I think their fans, I think fans of other teams, the pressure has to be on Arsenal in saying, for one, we all said when City drops off, Arsenal needs to win the league. Last year, somehow, some way, we started hearing that Salah's a proven winner and VVD's a proven winner. I see they don't even need a coach to win. They can just win by themselves. So it's not fair to really say that it was just City, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Klopp might be new, but look at the team that Klopp left them, even though we were saying that Klopp couldn't get it done with that team. They didn't sign anybody. Somehow they escaped with it. Injuries, whatever, they escaped. This year, I feel like it's more of a combination of the pressure that you escaped with last year and the pressure of this year and the completion of your team. Arsenal need to be in prime position to deliver something, right? A major. And I'll count the FA Cup as a major as well. FA Cup, League, Champions League. One of those things has to come home. Is that fair?
Hold on.
No, Judge, the way you celebrated that FA Cup, we have to count it.
So
we have to count it. Judge, what a 3-year celebration run of the
FA Cup is major.
I mean, when you count it as a treble, as one of the trophies in the treble, I feel like it's a major.
No, that's fine. I agreed with it. It's just when I was celebrating, people were telling me to calm down.
I just need to see armpits. There must be armpits at N5.
And for me, that's fair, right?
Okay.
So as an Arsenal
and
fan,
they're not armpits throwing the ball, armpits lifting. I don't want to see.
So as an Arsenal fan, I'll say this: you're 100% correct. Where for me, right, the team hasn't ever been this complete. Even like I said, I watched every or damn near every game of the Invincible season, Flying Fence in Federal Government College Janiki, and I know that the Invincibles team was 14, maybe 15 deep. People don't know this, It's just we had a Liverpool type season when nobody got really big injuries. And so by game week 30, we were done. We had won the title, right? It's different here. And so the reason I bring that up is this is the most complete Arsenal team I've seen supporting the squad, where there's 2 players I'm confident in for every game. So I agree with you. It has to be a major. Absolutely has to be a major. The last thing I will say, though, is kind of a little bit of a rebuttal on your points about Liverpool, because I, as an Arsenal fan, will not allow the team who strolled the league last year spend 500 M's and tell me they are second favourites, and they buy Alexander Isak, and they buy Hugo Ekitike, and they buy. Wait, I'm not letting you get away with that. I'm sorry.
I'll say this.
So
I'll say this.
Maybe
I'm
every
talking to
rival fan
Arsenal
wants to
fans.
say
That's
that
fair.
Arsenal fan are
That is
favourites.
fair. That is fair.
I will hear that from maybe a rival fan. I will not hear that out of the mouth of any Liverpool fan. You are
And
the
you know what?
favourites.
That's the fairest thing you've said.
That's
Because if
real.
I'm talking to a Liverpool fan, you are damn right. They are the favorites. And if I'm talking to an Arsenal fan, you are.
Exactly. I'll hear it from rivals. Because you're not
really is
wrong.
like
In
that,
my
yeah.
mind,
Exactly.
you guys are
Right.
right. In my mind, I agree with you. Our team is more complete.
That's
It's just you don't get to say that when you add Wits and Isak. You don't get to hide and say, nah,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
better win that shit again.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. And so speaking of co-favorites for the title, we come to our boys in blue.
Bro,
All I was hearing over the summer was
What?
Chelsea was ready to win the league.
Nah, man. Look,
No.
United
Adam,
fans are saying they were ready to win the league too.
Who
Why you
said
think
that? When did we say that?
Like we are many inside.
When did we say that?
Nobody wants to win the league.
Let's see.
You would think I said something bad about their club the way they just got the message. You don't want to win league.
No, Adam said they were world champions. So
We are.
said they were
Let me do
world.
it how Pius does it. Our world champion. So kind of back to the original format. I think last week Chelsea won. I'm forgetting who you played.
It was Fulham.
Fulham.
Yeah.
The West London boys, or whatever part of London.
By the
they're
way,
at.
Fulham, man, that was a shameless institution. They gave their goal of the month to a disqualified goal.
Hey,
I
listen,
love that
man.
energy, right?
How
Like as
shameless can
someone
you
who
be?
has been on the negative receiving end of PGMOL, awful.
Did you think that was a foul though?
Yeah, 100%, man. That was a foul.
I'm a little 50-50 on it. I would like to see that not be a foul in our game.
That's not.
But I
something you
can see that it
apologize
is a
for.
foul.
Yeah,
You said what?
That's not something you apologize for.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll get into the PGMOL of things, I'm sure, when we get into this Chelsea review. So that was a routine win, I'd sort of say. I think you guys you haven't looked good all year, so I won't even say you didn't look good there. You haven't really looked good, and maybe that's because of missing players, etc. Blah blah blah. I'm sure you get into it, but kind of recap that game. Surprisingly, Chelsea's transfer window feels like pre-Club World Cup and post-Club World Cup. And it was like an 8 out of 10 pre-Club World Cup. And you thought, oh, they're about to do it again. Here they go. Oh, they also want Xavi. They also want this guy. They want that guy. Oh, here they go. And then post-Club World Cup, it was like watching Daniel Levy at Spurs in 2019 all over again. I was like, oh my goodness, are they going to get even one guy through the door? So how do you feel about your window? What do you think you need to do in January and next summer? And what do you think the expectations for the team is as a result of the window? And then obviously get into the circumstances around the game this week. So if you want to do a quick recap on Fulham first, go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the Fulham game, it was classic game of two halves, right? That's a recurring theme this season. We're not starting games well. Like we look very bad first half of every game, and you could theorize that and make up excuses and say maybe teams a little bit leggy. We didn't get preseason. We have some players out injured. All that good stuff. But second half, it's a completely different team. It's a completely different team. You see guys like Enzo Fernandez. First half, but that Fulham game, bro, I wanted him out, halftime, but he came out second half and it looked completely different. And he's one of the guys that I'll say, bro, you should be the man in this team, right? Forget Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is who he is. Apart from Cole Palmer, I'm looking at you as the next big guy in this team. Like I look to you for numbers, for goals, and not just that, to play well and carry the team. You're the vice captain of this football club, and he answered those questions second half. He scored a penalty, but apart from that, he played well. The Fulham game, we saw the warning signs with Tosin, right? He's not that athletic, especially when you leave him 1v1 against a pacey direct attacker. They'll leave him for dead, right? So we we couldn't protect him enough, right? And that leads me to the Brentford game. Two things that are starting to concern me or worry me is, one, how susceptible to like counter attacks we are, and two, defending set pieces. Like you said something about West Ham, and even against Brentford, it just felt like, you could feel the tension whenever they got that throw in. Whenever they got a corner kick, you could just tell that it was coming. And I don't know why, honestly. I don't know why. I'm not sure. Of course, we lost Levi Colwill before the start of the season, and for some reason we just didn't replace him, which is crazy. We didn't replace that type of talent. He was one of our best players last season, our best defender, and we didn't replace him. And Maresca did a stain. We talked about this last season, Uzo. We said, Chelsea coaches over the last 2 to 3 years are not allowed to publicly demand for players. We saw what Pochettino did. Like, I need guys, I need bodies in, I need guys. Poch is a fool, by the way, but let's not even get into that.
Why the random stray just killed me?
Now, I just remembered when he said he needed.
He said, "What did you say? Fuck me for?"
He said he needed 6 foot plus players or something like that. Bro, what are you, man? Okay, never mind. Back to
let him
Maresca.
cook.
Maresca was saying, bro, I only have one defender that can play this way, and that's Tosi. What's the fancy word for it now? CCB. I only have one CCB in the team, and that's Tosi. I need somebody else. And this person is not just a squad player. He played practically every minute for us last season. I mean, it should go without saying that this is one of the most important players for our season. And you talked about Chelsea fans, being optimistic, I think overly optimistic, saying they will mount a title challenge. I think I can accept that after winning the Club World Cup. Right? I don't think it's crazy to say that. After winning the Club World Cup, they're not saying they're going to win the league. They're saying they'll challenge for the league. And you know what that means, Uzo? Challenging for the league means doing one better than qualifying for the Champions League. It means finishing third, right? And I felt like Chelsea fans were within their right to say that, especially after the Club World Cup, with a fit Levi Colwill signing, seeing what Joao Pedro could do, Palmer, a fit Cole Palmer, and expecting other players to come through the door. That's something that they were within their rights to say.
Best midfielder in the world, Caicedo as well. Remember?
Exactly. Thank you for that. Exactly. That's something that they should say. But the dramatic turn of events, Delap 10 weeks out, Levi Colwill before that, Palmer, niggling injuries here and there.
Delap. We're talking title challenger, talking Delap. Adams, don't let that.
So okay. So without
Joao Pedro is still there. Like, what was Delap gonna do? Clean his boots?
No, but I mean that's a good option to have,
bro. Exactly. That's one. That's
like we're talking about the whole Mosquera for Saliba thing. Delap is a good option to have.
Exactly. I don't know why. Like we didn't watch Delap last season. We're not saying
my hands up.
We're not saying he's going to come here and be the highest school scorer, but he's going to offer something. That's practically another body in the squad that we don't have anymore, right? And we tried to get Jackson back, which I felt was ridiculous. But I mean, it's kind of justified too. We needed somebody else. We can't go into the season with one striker. That's crazy.
That whole thing was interesting. Like, he just said, "No, I'm not coming back," and he's still under contract with you guys. And you guys were like, "Oh, well, if he doesn't want to come back, he can't come back."
No, that's not really what happened. Like,
because didn't he fly back and then have to fly back to Germany again?
Come on, bro.
He didn't. He never
He
flew back.
didn't go back. He didn't go back.
He just held out.
Yeah, he just held out.
Flew back.
And our whole thing was like, oh, look, we can't get another striker because you guys are paying a loan fee. right? We need and don't forget we were under, I think UEFA. We signed a contract. We signed this agreement with UEFA that we could only replace the players that we had from the squad last season. So we can't get in somebody else without selling someone first. So if we had gotten Javi Simmons, right, without selling Jackson, we won't be able to register him for the Champions League squad. And isn't that crazy, right? Buying a player for what 50 to 60 million and him missing out on Champions League roster would just make us look crazy and stupid, right? So it was very difficult for us, and we dug ourselves into that hole in the first place, and that's a whole nother discussion, another episode for that. But yeah, I feel like now with the way our transfer window panned out, it's almost like it's a repeat of last season for us. It's just top four. It's just top four, top five. Just get into Champions League. Chelsea fans, you know how they are. They'll see
is top four the expectation, or do you feel like you will get top four and that's all you'll get?
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah.
Are you saying like that's your expectation, or like that's your demand?
That's my demand. Okay. I think and that's just looking at the landscape, looking at other teams. I don't think other teams have gotten that good to, knock. And we'll qualify for top four, but it would just be like almost like it was last season. Like we'll just get by. Like we'll just get top four. I don't think Villa have been, they don't look like
that's not the name to call it all.
No, but they're part of the teams that challenged for top four last season.
No, I'm saying like they're definitely
they
don't look.
I don't think Villa and Newcastle. I don't think you lose Isak. Yes, you got Wissa, unless you got that other guy, but I don't think they will be as good as they were last season. And the only other team that I feel like will be very good, will be better than they were last season, at least twice as good as they were last season, is Spurs. And I still have my reservations about them making top four. So having said all that, I still think like we're in the forefront to get that fourth position. Or I don't know how many teams go into the Champions League this season, 4 or 5. We're still in a pole position to get that fourth position for sure. But, before the start of the season, we were optimistic. We thought we could maybe even push out City, right? We go for that third position, and who knows what can happen from there. But right now, because of the transfer business, we've had 4 or 5 major injuries already. Not to sound like an Arsenal fan, but it is what it is. Yeah. So,
but I mean, the interesting thing is to hear a Chelsea fan discontent with their transfer business. It's such a new.
No, I'm not content. I'm just saying like.
No, I said discontent.
Oh, okay.
With their transfer business.
Yeah.
It's a new warm feeling in my heart. It makes me smile. Like this transfer window was so strange. Liverpool is splashing cash. Arsenal was making smart, targeted early signings, and Chelsea is doing nothing. if you died and went to football heaven, you wouldn't even fathom that was possible in any single window, except they were like transfer banned. So it was very, very, very.
Yeah, it was. Especially the way we started, man.
Why you're muted? You got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I literally just realized I was muted. But yeah, a point in the column for karma being real is the fact that they are being hamstrung in terms of spending by what they did. Like the only reason they can't spend is the fact that UEFA went squad cost rules means you will have way more. So if you want to buy more, like they put themselves in the beginning that they are, and that's how you know that God can be real sometimes. That's all I'm saying.
So what was the charges that they provided to Chelsea recently?
Oh, that was for
Make some clarify that, because it looks like they're not going to serve any penalties.
So that was basically us. So when the new owners took over, they did some audits, and they basically went to the FA and said, "Look, we found some inconsistencies in the previous administration, and had to deal with agents and some fees that were made to some agents during Abramovich's time, and they self-reported themselves and said, look, we're ready to cooperate. This is what we found, and we're ready to cooperate with you. We'll share everything you need to know." So it's basically like just having a deal with the FA, like, look, okay, they reported themselves to us, and they're not going to do anything crazy.
You guys were guilty.
So hold on, you know what I was going to say? You remember when you were small and your sister tells you that you guys should go and steal meat, and then you guys are stealing the meat, and you ate it, you enjoyed, like you licked every goddamn thing. Now the problem is that you guys, instead of doing your normal calculated stealing where they don't catch you, You stole so much that there's no way Momsi comes home.
No
and
way.
wants you to take this thing at all. And you as the younger brother, who was not necessarily the instigator, you know. So you have an executive decision to make.
No.
You either go and say, okay, mommy, here's what happened, and this sister you gave me in charge of the house,
Yeah.
or you can decide to chop the cake into people. That's probably what's happened to you.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
They should come get Adams too. Somehow he's involved in all of this because the amount of times you're in Malta, in New Guinea, wherever you're vacationing at while the team is going bad, there must be some money changing hands here too.
Hey man, look,
I'm starting to.
It's the blue cartel, man. The blue cartel. Yeah, that's.
You're the only ones in the blue cartel. What are you talking about? Everton with you.
Hey, did you see that thing where they said it was only Everton and Chelsea that cooperated with City during their trial? Did you see that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Guys.
But yeah, so I think with regards to the transfer window, that was quite interesting. I kind of wanted Chelsea to have a better window because I wanted to run some, title challenge agendas, but I can't in good faith. I look at the team, and I'll come to you, George, on this one. What do you make of Chelsea? Like, I desperately want to put them in those conversations because, they made such a huge deal of that Club World Cup, and I want to shove it back. Like, okay, so go do it now against real teams. But I'm looking at the team, and I'm like I keep seeing those memes of,
bro,
2 billion gets you this.
Uzo.
Like,
bro, don't let
No.
United fan.
100%.
Don't let a United fan.
No. The thing
Adams, this is his only joy. When
No,
we get to his
Uzo-
club, he's gonna be crying.
Uzo took my answer because, like, I saw that tweet where it's like 500 million, and you have Gittins at left wing.
Don't let Adams get away with him saying Gittins would be a better signing than Estevao. I can't wait.
I didn't say that. I said
we have the
I
files.
was more excited.
No,
for Gittins.
Adams, listen though. You spent 500 million, right? And your two center backs are Chaloba and Tosin.
Whew. They didn't even start for Congo.
Yeah, like does that feel like you spent 500 million? Does that feel like you spent 500 million? Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Even the Joao Pedro signing, Joao Pedro shouldn't even be your starting striker. He should be like the 10 kind of player, you know what I mean? Rotating with Palmer. He shouldn't even be the main striker. So you tell me you spent 500 million and you have Gittins, you have to see.
But there's nothing wrong with
Garnacho.
Exactly. He's forgetting my boy Garnacho.
In fact, I didn't even say that Garnacho guy, bro. I didn't even say that.
I love that chant. Alejandro Garnacho.
Yeah, man.
But no,
listen to him. Be there.
The blue code method. It's one of those things where you praise it, but you also question it at times. Like, I praise it when I see when they sell players for profit after 2 years of underperforming. I'm just like, how? Who? Like, what are people seeing in these players? So obviously something is working with the system. Is profitable, is self-sustaining. And I think the fact that they were upfront with their charges to UEFA or to the Premier League, PGMO or whatever, shows that they're trying to run a more sustainable method. And I think they're doing a great job. But I think at some point, and I told you this, Adams, at the start of the season, so it's not like I'm changing my mouth. At some point, you have to get some players that are ready for now. I told him, I felt like all of the signings, Gittins, even Garnacho to a certain extent, because I think he's more prem proven, but even him to a certain extent, these are all players that are coming in to try to prove something in Chelsea. They're not guys that have proven something elsewhere. And it's like at some point in your journey, when you want to take that leap to become a title challenger, like Arsenal, like a Liverpool, etc., like a Spurs. I'm just kidding. Small joke. But when you want to make that leap, you have to sign players that are ready, that have proven something elsewhere and are ready to prove something right now.
Yeah, why didn't Chelsea even go for a Gueye, like as Liverpool were, contesting for him? Why is Chelsea not in that conversation?
Were they even linked with any center backs?
That's what I'm saying.
So one of the reasons why they decided not to sign a center back is because they believe so much in the talent that we have. So we have Achipong, who I think is
good player.
Yeah, a really good player. And maybe if he was in another team, And the irony of this thing is like we sign young players, but we also have young players. Like, bro, like, we sign all these young players and then we trust them, but the ones that we have, we fail to trust them. Like Achipong, for me, like that's like the next big talent in this league, the next big center back in this league. If it was a Crystal Palace, if it was at Brentford, they'll be talking about what 60, 70 million for him. And
yeah, he's very comfortable, very comfortable.
But
I like him.
But the coach doesn't want to trust him, and that's where it is. Like if the coach doesn't trust the player, right, and the coach has shown you that he has some credibility, you back him. That's what you do. You back him because the coach got us top 4. He met the expectations for last season, and the least you could do is at least when he has asked, I need somebody else. You back him. I know Achipong is going to suffer. He might leave at the end of the day because if you get in another center back there, that means there's just no pathway for him. But yeah, if you're trying to go for the big leagues, if you're trying to challenge the big boys, and yeah, man, it just still feels like I watch teams like Arsenal and Liverpool. We're still far away. We're still far off those teams. And it's the bitter truth. I know most Chelsea fans won't want to hear this, but it just seemed like 2 seasons. We need at least 2 seasons to catch up with these teams. With the amount of money
They're trying to catch up. They're even moving.
They're moving for. Look at what they're spending. We're trying to catch up. Look at what these two are spending, man. Arsenal is buying the league.
Exactly, bro.
Who would have ever thought we could say that?
We're talking about Josh Ashipong, which is where I was going. Why I'm happy you said Arsenal was buying the league, because one of my silent prayers this entire season, as an Arsenal fan, you wouldn't think I'll be praying that. One of my silent prayers was that they actually get Isak. You know why? I needed nobody to be able to say people bought league. Like, let them outspend those. Like, let's say that there is no argument.
Net spend.
Like I said at the start of this, but let them
net spend.
No argument.
Net spend. Net spend, exactly.
We always have an ace up our sleeve.
We could spend 500.
Let me not bring my NBA into this. Let's leave net spend out of this. But anyway, the thing I didn't want to say, Adams, about Ashipong was how I know I rate him so much. And rivals might not like this part of what I'm about to say. I really, really solidly believe Arsenal's defensive recruitment die. I can question the midfielders, I can question the strikers, the attackers. But you see that defensive recruitment right now, Arsenal has it.
No, top in the world, number 1 in the world. No question.
Do you know when I learned about Josh Achipong? I learned about him when I heard that our team put him on the list last season, when they heard that he was. So basically, the Mosquera that ended up coming, because the idea was we need to get Tomiyasu out and get somebody on that right side. Josh was the name, was at least the second name on the list.
He floated around early this
So that was when I looked and I went, okay, for these guys to rate this player, because I believe, again, I know rivals might not, I rate Arsenal's defensive recruitment. And so that was when I got into him. So, like Adams, like you're saying, I'm very surprised Maresca doesn't trust him. He may not be ready.
But to Adams' point, though, he's not gonna get you in a title challenge right now, and that's kind of the issue. That's why I'm saying, like, you need, and I never get this whole blocking the pathway thing. A good player is a good player. Like Waneri, for example, is behind Odegaard. I don't think he's blocking his pathway. I think if anything, he's accentuating Ethan's qualities, because when you see him come in the team, because that's a position that you already got your prime eyes on, you get to see somebody come in deputized and you're like, oh, this guy's ready, because I know the level that you need to get to, and this guy is showing me signs that he can get there. So this is something I argue with Spurs fans all about, like, and I know it's probably a long. I don't think there's any such thing as blocking a pathway, especially for a young. Josh is he's a teenager.
But he needs time, though. He needs to
older than both our teenagers.
Yeah, he needs to play.
MLS, Waneri, Dauman, Josh is older.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. They're seeing nowadays. I was saying with one of my friends, I don't think we should have that golden ball this category again, because all these young players are ready. Like, most of them are playing like.
Well, they think they're ready.
Yeah, no, actually, most of them are ready. Bro, most of them.
I think a lot of them are being misled by age, and I think it's because of all the money that's going around. A lot of them are starting to get misled. Look at Chido Obi, for example. You know, not to throw George under the bus, but nowhere near ready. Nowhere near ready. You force your way out. You want first team pathway. You go, and then you realize you ain't that good. You're just not that good.
No, I don't think so, though. I don't think so. He went to a bad team. I don't think that's a good example.
No, he's not ready. He's not. I think he was given a chance. He just wasn't ready.
To show that it's not just about him going to a bad team. So remember, we had him first. He was the one
Yes, he was
scoring
at
10,
Arsenal. Yep.
10 goals a game for us. And so we were trying to fast track him. And when Uzo knows this already, when I got good with us losing Chido, was when we took him from the under 18s that he was bullying to the under 21s. And I cannot exaggerate how ordinary he looked. Because, and the reason is because as Arsenal fans, we were like, okay, if he can do under 21s, like, because it was about the physicality, that means, oh, he's ready for Prem. And then we look, and under 21s, he looked so lost, not to talk of Prem level. And we're like, okay, yeah.
He's just not ready. And it doesn't mean he'll never be ready.
That's one example out of a like
no, but I think there's a lot of young players that are trying to fast track because they see all these examples of a Cole or a Lamine or whatever. You ain't all gonna be that. You're not all going to be that. Of course, back yourself. But I never think clubs should like acquiesce to that and say like open up. Like there was a time at Spurs they were saying, oh, we need to leave the pathway open for Mikey Moore, for Dane Scarlett, for I'm forgetting this Alfie Devine. These guys are all balling for England under 21.
No, those guys are mean.
Those guys are
Look at
average. They're all but that's what I'm saying.
Mean.
They were being gassed when you haven't seen them, and then you see them and you're like, leave the pathway for what? Man, go sign me some players now. Go sign me some players now. If they turn out to be something, all good. Like, I mean, the same thing with Noni. Noni left our academy young, but
especially attackers, man.
That's just
attackers, as an attacker, if you're young, to make it to the first team, you have to be extraordinary. You have to be really good. So you can't just be like, okay, just average. But as a midfielder, as a defender, right, you have time. Yeah. You have time because you still
I think they all have time, and I think agents need to start advising their clients in smart. Like you see some of the guys that it does work out for. They stay at the club, they work hard, and they wait for their chance. And you see, like, it's worth it because when you get that chance, it's more organic. You're more prepared. You sat there and you've watched winning culture up front, up close, and like someone like Josh, he'll benefit from a Gehi coming into the side, another young English center back.
He won't.
Yes, he would. How would he not?
He needs minutes.
English center back.
He needs minutes, and he plays for Chelsea, bro. Like historically, we don't give young players a chance. Like apart from Rich James and Mason Mount, look, Gay. Look. You just
so do you think he should
just made the worst example? My Gay, that was someone that came through our academy.
No, I get that.
And then we're signing him back. We're sending him back. We could have just kept him.
But Gay wasn't ready then.
No, he could. Now
do you think he could have been starting for? I mean, you guys haven't done anything since he left, so maybe he could have.
Exactly, that's my point. We've gotten guys like Disasi, Badiashile. Who else? You guys know the names. Remind me of those names. Gay was better than those guys. Gay was better than those guys. He was
at the time.
At the time, yes. At the time,
I don't know about
Gay was better at the time you guys got Tosi.
But they didn't have Gehi at that time. I'm saying when Gehi was at Chelsea, he wasn't ready.
Like when he was at Chelsea.
Oh, when he wasn't ready. Chelsea. Yes, he wasn't ready. My point is about not that you will never be ready. I just think it should be more organic. Like someone like Josh, I think in 2-3 seasons, then he can be ready to be a starting caliber center back in a team that can challenge for the title. So is he that now? No, he's not. And do Chelsea need a starting caliber title challenges center back in order to challenge for the title? Yes, they do. So it's a simple one-to-one equation.
This is my thing about academy players. I think especially Chelsea and maybe Arsenal, and you can talk about maybe Barcelona, Manchester United, like 5 or 6 years ago. We have quality enough not to get squad players anymore. I'm not saying
like from the academy, like you can fill your squad from the academy.
Exactly. Possibly. I'm not saying don't go get like an extraordinary talent if they're available. Don't go get like a marquee signing, but you don't need to sign because any defender we bring in now is going to be a squad player. So you don't need to sign a squad player to block the parts, or because you already have those squad players. And look at Arsenal. Arsenal are doing that now with Nwaneri and Nathan Mouse. They're the squad players.
Dowman.
Exactly.
MLS,
now, if they go sign somebody else, if they go sign another like 22-year-old, Nwaneri is not going to play.
I mean, that's what they said about Eze, but Nwaneri is still playing. And that's my point. So I mean, people were saying that the reason they backed away from Eze was, I mean, it was all probably propaganda just being thrown out there anyways, because you guys were always going to sign him. But I mean, I think that kind of bolsters my point. Arsenal have one of the most complete teams in Europe. They've signed a lot of starting caliber players.
Yeah.
and they still have a pathway for youngsters. And that's my entire point.
That's because
That's my entire point. If you're outstanding, you will stand out even in an outstanding
that's because they
environment.
kept it that way, bro. They kept it that way. It was by design.
Yeah,
We were
I just think
we were
right
signing
now
players
Josh
like we
isn't
were
ready to
signing
be the
players like
starter for Chelsea.
we're signing players like Disasi, knowing fully well that these guys are not starting caliber players. They're coming to fulfill squad roles. Like we had like 8 or 9 center backs. For what reason? And even because of that, we had to loan Chaluba to Crystal Palace.
And then we called him back.
Yeah, we signed Vega. We just signed ridiculous amount of defenders when we already have guys that can fulfill that role for us.
Yeah, I think I get your overarching point. Is if you would have developed some of the guys you already had, you wouldn't be. I think you even also had what's his name, the center back from Milan, Tamori. I think Tamori was also
that was a few years ago.
Yeah. So Tamori also came through. But I mean, I think that's a good kind of segue to transition to the meal of the hour. He's already preparing himself to be roasted as well. We're gonna let you speak first before we absolutely tear into you. But speaking of academies and people who bring players through the academy, George. First, Amarim got his first win of the season across all comps because you actually started another comp very early. Started and ended very, very early.
Whoa.
But he got his first win of the season across all comps last week. 2 weeks ago now, last game week. And I was hearing that, all's well. All's well. They're leaders in XG, open play XG. The system is working. Players just need to put away their chances. Everything's all good. People need to not stress. So there was no problems anymore. But we know what happened this week, so we'll get into that after. But tell me where you were at after the 3-2 win. It was 3-2, right?
Yeah.
3-2 win. Also tell me about your transfer window, which I have some thoughts about that, but I want to hear from you. I think it was a little bit disjointed, especially for a team that's trying to rebuild. I felt like rebuilding from the attack, probably not the smartest thing. Probably want to rebuild the spine first. We know you tried for a Baleba, so tell me where you kind of rate the transfer window: good, bad, indifferent. And obviously, we know you have more work to do, but what do you think needs to be done in January? And then we'll get into today's game. I think with today's game, I don't even want you to address it. We'll address that first. Just address those two. We'll start, and then you can respond.
All right. So honestly, I felt like that game, I think, against Burnley, it was kind of the same thing that would happen the first game of the season and the second game of the season. We were just conceding like goals that we shouldn't concede. Like I felt like, okay, even like with the Arsenal game, I didn't feel like Arsenal broke us down to beat us. I felt like the goal that we conceded was off a mistake, like goalkeeper mistake, and it led to Arsenal scoring. And I felt like during that whole game, we were creating chances, just wasn't able to put it away. Against Fulham, just kind of the same thing. Like that first half was probably the best first half I've seen from Amarim's team, and we just couldn't score. And you know how the game works. If you can't put away your chances, especially in an away game, and like Fulham they're an experienced team. If you can't put away your chances, but something is gonna happen. And just going through that game and Bruno missed the penalty, like it was just kind of like inevitable that they were gonna score. Even after we scored, like it was just something that was waiting to happen. And it was kind of the same thing leading up to the game against Burnley. We started off well. I feel like every first half we started off well, all right? And then as the game progressed, we just start, the 2 goals that Burnley scored were just off mistakes. Like I literally, up until that game, I couldn't tell you that the teams we played literally broke us down and scored on us. Like I couldn't tell you that. We can't talk about today's game, but I'm telling you, the first 3 games, I couldn't tell you that teams broke us down and scored on us. So I feel like if we can eliminate like making those like childish mistakes and not letting teams score on us, because if you see those goals like they scored on us, it's just something that can be taken away from the game. Like it's just so frustrating to watch, because you watch it and you're like, you can stop this. Like this is not like I don't think it's a system thing. I think it's just individual mistakes, and it's just costing us. And like until we get that right, no matter how many goals we score, we're always going to be like, dropping points. So it felt good to have Mbeumo score. Cunha should have scored his goal against Fulham. I want our new signings to, to get, on the board. So I even that penalty that Bruno took, I even wanted Sechko to take that penalty so like he can feel, so he can get off, get going. But
Havertz
that guy,
special.
huh?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was about to say that too. You're,
What?
you're muted, by the way, Uzo.
The Havertz special is what I said. Oh, Uzo, you're muted.
Yeah,
No, I was
Well,
saying
no,
the exact same thing you said. The
Yeah.
Havertz special.
okay. But no, Wala. That Burnley game, it wasn't a convincing win, but you see, Burnley is they're a very structured team. So
I said this at the start of the season. Everybody
bro, that
I
team is
said
not
they have
good,
a
bro.
they
That
have
team
an
is not good.
aggressive mid block
I
leading
beg,
to a
that
low
team is
block.
not good.
They will not
And,
let you play through the middle. You will have
Yeah.
to spam crosses, and they will nut it out all game. But it's
exactly,
okay.
yeah. So
You're all going to find
Nah,
out who's
I
going
can't
to
wait.
take
I
more.
can't wait to face
You
that.
won't
yeah,
find out.
so
My
we
guy Scott
we,
Parker.
we took our 3 points from them, so that was good. So overall, from those first 3 games, I think it was the Fulham game that actually made me more like upset, just because I felt like that game should have won in the first half 3-0, no issues. But just with the mistakes again, we left with 1 point, which it sounds bad. It doesn't sound too bad leaving with 1 point at Fulham, but Fulham is a team that you should be beating any day. So other than that, transfer window, man, let me tell you. My rating from the transfer window is honestly it's a 5 out of 10. The reason why I say it's a 5 out of 10 is because I hate when United do this. You know who you need to sign, and you make contact with signing these players, but then you wait until until like the end of the season or the end of the transfer window to like accelerate you trying to sign the players. They knew that they don't want Onana in the team. Why don't you go in there and just sign a prominent goalkeeper to go through preseason with? Why don't you do that? You go into the season with your second backup going into the season that you want to rebuild. That's not like it doesn't make sense to me, right? You want to improve your midfield. We know you wanted to improve your midfield because you made a bid or you were interested in signing Baleba. So why not actually go in and actually sign these players rather than waiting till the end of the season and being like, oh yeah, or end of the transfer window and being like, oh yeah, we tried to get him and this happened. We're gonna try again in January. That's not convincing. The best teams, look at Manchester City. They signed Trafford, right? They saw Trafford wasn't gonna be it. What they do? They went and signed Donnarumma right away. And I'm telling you, Donnarumma is the guy that made a difference today. Did you see how commanding he was? Like, I just don't understand why we know what we need to do, but we wait till the last minute to do it. Uzo, I know you guys don't agree with the whole signing, the whole forward, all the signings that we did, but I think that like we need that. You see how the way Cunha and Mbeumo combine? Like I've never seen like with Rashford and Garnacho. I didn't see that last season. So we needed those strikers up there playing for us. We needed that in our team, but it's like it's almost a thing of like, yeah, you can sign those strikers, but if you don't sign midfielders behind them, you're kind of just like, masking the problems, because like teams are just bypassing us every game. So if you're going to make those signings, those marquee signings, guy, you have to go sign the midfielders as well. So that's why I say the transfer window for me is a 5 out of 10. But if we would have got, and mind you, it doesn't have to be a Baleba to come into that midfield. Just somebody that can run. And we waited to the end of the transfer window. And look, I don't know if you guys saw that we tried to sign Conor Gallagher.
Whoa. I saw that. I was
Bomba.
that was like, okay, the bad news is they are trying to fix the problems. The good news is they're targeting Conor Gallagher. So.
Bro, but it's like you have a midfield
Bomba.
problem because you wouldn't be going to try to go sign him if you didn't think you had a problem.
That is
So
true.
if you knew you had this problem, bring the guy Bring the guys that you want. Bring them for preseason. Build, like mold, not just, oh yeah, let me sign the strikers. Oh yeah, they're gonna outscore. No, it's not gonna work this way. It's not. So it makes the signing the signing those strike. It makes it look bad because we don't have the backbone behind them to help them, like, work as a team. I'm watching Cisco today. I'm like, wow, this guy, like, I feel bad for him because he's just running around there and there's
How many
nothing
times
that
have we heard this about another 70 million pound Man United striker? Is this like the third time in a row? I feel bad.
But the thing is, it's like Uzo, I've always said this in our chat. We have not replaced Michael Carrick, and people will just say I'm just saying bullshit. But like,
Hey, Michael Carrick from what?
exactly.
Years ago.
No. Exactly. No. Adams, listen to me. I've always cried about this. We have not replaced Michael Carrick. I don't know why United are allergic to signing like quality midfielders. You cannot, like, the last quality midfielder we signed.
I said Pogba, but
yeah, that was the last. That was the last one, and Pogba was doing his thing. But also,
yeah, but he was dyeing his hair, so that was unacceptable.
that was the problem. No, but like, even with signing Pogba, right? You had to bring in somebody else, like, in the mid. You can't just sign one midfielder and say, "Oh, here, the team is complete." It doesn't work that way. Like, that's what I'm saying. United, this like, they're even trying to go for Anderson in the last. It was deadline day. We decided we saw we liked what Anderson was doing. Let's try to sign him. But that's
Elliot Anderson at Forest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That guy. After especially after what I saw, what he did against Arsenal, we need to sign him in January. So I'm gonna lead into the topic of what I think we should do in January. If we finish January and we didn't sign 2 midfielders, I don't care what manager comes in, they're not gonna succeed. They're not gonna succeed.
Are you sacking the manager?
Huh?
I said we're already sacking the manager. You said
No. I'm saying
no.
By the way, I don't think he lasts the season, and that's just as a.
He's already soft launched the sacking, bro.
No, I'm just saying because everybody's like, "Oh, change the system, do this, do that." You can change the system.
Doing himself any favors, I'll tell you that.
We played back 4 last season. We're not like this back 4, 3 in the midfield. It doesn't matter what it is. If you don't have the personnel, it's not gonna work. And the thing I like about other teams, if a player is not good enough, they send them off. United, this is the only season that we've got rid of Deadwood. Lindelof, I don't know how he's been at the club for 9 years. He's barely leaving. Like, these type of things would never happen at a Chelsea. It would never happen at Arsenal. You see how Nugo was saying, "Oh, Tomiyasu, we needed somebody in the right, so let's go get somebody." Right? You see how, and Tomiyasu, like, he was doing his thing, but like
doing his thing in the hospital, but
yeah, but exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at. Luke Shaw, that's a hospital player. Guess what? He's been at the club 11, 12 years, right?
Bro, you said Dallo has been there for what, 10 years?
Dallo has been there since Mourinho.
Is it 10 years? It can't be 10
Mourinho.
years.
Yeah, Mourinho has been on our team since 2016. So 10 years
Dallo?
in a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I heard that, I'm like, man.
Yeah, 10 years in a year. In fact, the funny thing is, Dalot was probably, I think it was his second signing when Mourinho came to our team. He was the second signing. And Mourinho said, "Oh, this is going to be one of the best right backs ever." That's what Mourinho said. I remember.
Peak fooling.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, even inside the club, like when they sign players, they just let them stay there. So like this transfer window, like, yeah, we cleared players, but if we don't bring in those midfielders, and I think we should literally just, they don't have to sign Baleba. Just go bring in Anderson and then pair him up with somebody else. Go bring in a Wharton or something. If Baleba is too costly, huh?
Bro,
Wharton and Anderson.
They're shopping in the wrong places, bro. I got like
George thinks it's easy to just go plug the best midfielders out of mid-table clubs in Premier.
No. I'm not saying it's easy, but there's some clubs it's easier to do transfers with.
Definitely
Crystal
not
Palace.
Forest.
That's
Definitely
Crystal
not
Palace.
Forest.
I feel like if you give them a
Did you
good.
see what we just went through with Palace? Did you see what Liverpool went through with
I know,
Palace?
but
that's
Go there.
different,
Go
though.
that
there.
was different
Of
though.
course, Miguel has good feelings because they ran a heist with those.
Those
I
are
feel
my
like
guys. Like there's Nketiah, there's a
You
lot
guys
of
have a
people from
relationship, but
Holding.
Steve
There's
Nah,
Eze
Steve Parish
Bolaue,
but if
is
they
one
really
of
want
the
to play,
worst
I
they
am
want to
owners
play.
right
Though.
historically.
to deal with.
Like
yeah,
those are my guys.
they're
Those are
selling
my
clubs.
guys.
Like it's like they'll groom
Yeah,
a
if
player.
they really want the player, they'll get the player.
No,
Yeah.
Steve Parish is one of the worst owners to deal with. You won't get him in January. That's not happening. That's
Oh,
a
we
pipe
will get
dream.
him in January.
Yeah.
We will
That's
get
a
him
pipe
in
dream.
January.
You're not getting them in
So
January.
that's what I'm saying. If you knew you needed this in the summer, why don't you do everything that you can to just get these players? It doesn't make sense to me. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Amorim's going to be sacked, but I'm saying even if a new manager comes in, you still need the personnel. So you telling me
you don't think you guys have enough to do better than you're currently doing? You don't
who's
think
the
you guys
midfield?
have?
No. So who's the midfield that you will play? Tell me. No, Adams. I want you to tell me.
Personally, I'd play Casemiro and Menu and then Bruno up front.
So you guys are telling me that midfield three is good enough to get me top 4?
Hey, listen, I'm watching
And
Bournemouth. I'm
exactly.
watching
That's my
Bournemouth
next
with
thing.
worse players do better. Listen, at some point, excuses must stop. And I was actually having this argument with a United fan. I'm like, are you telling me that you would trade squads with Brighton that's still starting Danny Welbeck in the year of the Lord 2025? Are you telling me that you would trade squads, not starting 11? Because we fall in love with this. Some mid-table clubs have nice starting 11s. I'm not gonna lie. Are you telling me you would trade squads with Aston Villa that you just sent Sancho there to go do his NYSC? Are you telling me you would trade squads with Nottingham Forest? Albeit they had some decent signings, but there's this. Are you telling me you trade squads with Newcastle that's still starting Dan Burn? Are you telling me you trade squads, a squad of 23? No, you're not. So your team is at least, at minimum, United have minimum top 5, top 6 teams in England right now. Squads. The manager must be doing better. Must.
Absolutely.
You must find a way to platform the players, maximize their talent, and get them at minimum into the top 6 of the table.
Yeah.
There's no excuses for anything less than that.
No, trust
Zero.
me.
At one game, they have one game a week until end of January minimum.
And remember,
The reason I'm so disappointed when you bring that up about them having one game a week, the reason I'm so disappointed in how they started the season, even though yes, I'm part of the reason they've been shit, is because because we beat them now, so I'm complaining, even though I want them to be good, not want them to be good, but you get what I mean. Essentially, I complain because I really felt like a United team with one game a week. I honestly, before the season felt, nobody thought they were doing a title fight, but I honestly thought this was a comfortable, emphasis on comfortable Europe team, i.e. like comfortably in the Europa League, and like they probably touch UCL qualification.
I had them in my top 5.
Okay, but listen, it's okay. I get what you're saying, but you guys are making it seem like we're already halfway into the season. We're 4 games in.
You're the one making it seem.
Yeah, you're the one that started. You started it too. You're the one that started saying.
No. But
you've already aged like 6 weeks since I last saw you last week.
Because listen. If you remember the beginning of the season, my prediction was saying we were still gonna get top 6, right? That was still my prediction.
Are you standing behind that right now?
Just give me a minute, bro. Just give me a minute.
Like, don't rush me.
Politician answer. Go ahead.
Just give me a minute. What I'm saying is, and Nugo started this when he was talking about in his segment. He was saying that, okay, you know how Arsenal and Liverpool, it sucks that you have to face them early, right? Whatever. For us, we play Arsenal early. That was our first game of the season, right? Now we play Manchester City in our 4th game. We play Chelsea next week, and then we play Liverpool in the upcoming 3 weeks. So for a team, like I know these big games are not the defining factor in getting top 4. Just like Nugo said, playing that big game is not the deciding factor in winning the league. So that's why I was saying that frustrating game was a game against Fulham. And if we would have won that game prior to this game we played against Manchester City, it would have been 2 wins and then the loss to Arsenal. That is not a bad portfolio to have going into the game today. It's not, because it's 2 wins and a loss to Arsenal. And even if you look at the loss to Arsenal, you feel good. Like you don't like. I'm not saying like, oh my god, like this. You still feel good about the performance, like because You had chances and you could have won that game as well. So what I'm saying is, I think that's why I said we should look this United team. It's after 10 games. We need to go look back and see, like, okay, after 10 games, you played teams that are in the top 4. You played them 5 times already, or top 5. You played them 5 times already. You're gonna play Chelsea. You're gonna play Liverpool. You're gonna play Arsenal, and you're gonna play Manchester City. Like, especially like the game coming next week. I think it's a winnable game against Chelsea. So I'm gonna like the performance against.
No, it's Adam's face. I'm sorry.
No,
He was
No,
so
just remember
disgusted.
who I'm going to keep up here. Like,
Yeah. No, because it's that Chelsea game that's gonna tell me, because it's at home. It's that Chelsea game that's gonna tell me, okay, what is this team made of? Because, like Adam said earlier, Chelsea doesn't start well. United, the games we played at home, we start well. So this is a game to take advantage. Take advantage of Chelsea. Beat Chelsea. Now you have 2 wins, 2 losses. You'll be moving, And then you have some small games coming before you play Liverpool. So I think I don't want to jump the gun, because even though with this loss, I know you're going to talk about this loss, blah, blah, blah. Even though with this loss with Manchester City, I still feel like I don't feel depressed, or I don't feel like, oh, doom or whatever.
Could have fooled me.
I honestly don't feel the doom. Like, I'll tell you when I feel the doom. You wouldn't even hear from me.
Well, we know.
There you have it. There you have it, folks.
We know.
So, yeah, to just conclude, I just think, just a couple of games, 10 games in, then I'll see a more clearer picture if, like, we're actually going to get top 4, top 6, what it is. As of right now, if you really ask me, I still stand that we can get top 6. I really do still stand. Just because, like, from the performance that I've seen, even the games we've lost, I still feel like we could get top 6. So, yeah.
You can. I don't think that's a doubt. But it's like me saying we can win the league. Nobody's going to let me off with that. We know we can. Will you get top 6?
Yeah.
I think that's even a bad comparison, because Arsenal can win the league.
Exactly. That's the thing. If
Because they've actually challenged for it before. United is more of a bigger question.
Put your neck on it. So you two.
And you look at the teams, bro. Look at the teams.
Obviously,
There's Spurs.
That's a first.
Newcastle is there. Chelsea. Aston Villa.
I think United is better than Newcastle. They should be.
My feeling on United, honestly, is the coach capped. That's what I think. I think that squad with the right manager is comfortably 6th, 5th. Like, when I say comfortably, they don't stress themselves. 1 game a week, for God's sake. Like, they don't even stress to do it. And so for me, I am not hearing all the Brighton, Bournemouth. I'm not hearing that. This is Manchester.
Let me ask you right now.
Come on.
Let me ask you right now. Out of the 4 games we played, right? Do you think we underperformed out of those 4 games? Is there any game there that we lost that we should have won? In your opinion?
That's a very good question, because that brings us into today's game. Now it's time to cook. You can mute yourself, brother. We'll take it from here. The game today, 1000%. Yes, you looked like a non-league team. I mean, that was because I don't think City were particularly good. I thought they were going through the motions. And City haven't looked good all season. And they're missing, how many players are they missing? God knows how many they're missing
not
at
missing
this
anybody.
point.
They're not missing
They're
anybody.
missing players for
The
sure.
only
They're missing
person
a lot
that
of
missing was Mamouche and Nouri.
and Ryan Cherky. They're missing Cherky as well.
But Turkey played 1
Ruben
game.
Diaz as well. I believe they're missing Ruben.
No, Diaz
I think
was
he played.
playing. Diaz was
He
playing,
played.
bro.
He played.
He
Yeah.
played today. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't miss
No,
anybody,
they didn't miss too many players. They had
Yeah.
Rodri. They had their spine.
Even Foden
They have-
came back, and he was a difference maker.
Yeah, I know
Even Foden
Foden
came
Rodri.
back.
They had their spine.
They had their
They
team.
have their squad, really.
But even still, they weren't brilliant. Man City, they weren't cutting through.
And that's also
peppering
my
you or anything
frustration
like
with
that.
like Chelsea. I feel like they're dead to the taking this season.
Who,
Like,
City?
Yeah, like I think
I see. I disagree with you on the wider point of City over the course of the season, because they're still my title favorites. Funny enough, when we come to predictions,
you're crazy, man. You're
I know,
crazy.
I
You
know,
should put
because
them in
I
that-
still think the reports of the demise of one Pep
man,
Guardiola
He's
have
done
been,
out here, bro. He's done.
have been
In the league.
absolutely blown out of proportion.
In the league,
I
he's
don't know. I don't know.
But
if
we'll
y'all
get
saw-
back to that later. I don't want to
I don't
argue
know
about
if y'all
that yet.
saw Haaland's interview after the game today. He said after we had that loss before the international break, the team got together and was like, "We don't know where this goes, but after this game, they now feel like they can challenge for the title."
Bro, they're not doing nothing, bro. They're
No,
not
I
doing
mean, I'm
nothing.
just telling you what he said in the.
Now,
Well,
if we lose to City, I'll be disappointed. That's how
if
bad they
what do you
are.
mean if you lose? Like if you lose a game to them?
Yeah, a game to City.
See, but again, you're a Chelsea fan. That is the arrogance that we're talking about with Chelsea fans. What do you mean?
Don't worry, we'll
Bro,
cane them
I've
this
seen
Saturday,
them.
bro.
I've seen them this season, bro.
Look,
I
Don't
see
worry,
them
we'll
this
cane
season.
you. We'll cane you this
still,
Saturday.
City, in my opinion, is what I call this season at least. They are all chest, no legs, which is like I know legs is an exaggeration. They do have legs. They had a clean sheet today, but like the point is, the place I think my team will get at City is that defense, right? And I'm playing them next week, so it's not even going to be far.
I can't wait for that game. I
That's a
cannot
big
wait for that
game.
game.
I can't
And-
wait. And it's at the
and
Emirates,
you know what?
so I
George
want to
is-
see what we
Hold
do.
on, we're falling for George's trap. He brought up all this title stuff to this. Let's talk about the game today. Something happened today in a Manchester derby that I was hearing all these things about City are there for the taking. All these things that we're all saying. We should be trying to go get points from there. They're missing some players, blah blah blah. They haven't started well. I was seeing the table floating around all international break. We're above City. Are they in a crisis? Do they need a new manager? Is their system bad? Blah blah blah. Here we are. They took the goalkeeper that you wanted. He said, "Nah, he doesn't want to go fight Onana for 18th. He wants to go challenge for trophies. So he went to the blue side of Manchester. They debuted him against you. You guys didn't even trouble the guy. You didn't even trouble the guy. The guy's wondering if he was at a training session. The biggest issue that I have with today's performance, right, is Amorim needed a game like this. When you're a struggling manager, like the big games don't really matter for top four. I agree with you 1,000%. And I hate that you said that because I wanted to go banter, but you brought some logic. I was like, that's fair. You got to look at the big picture, right? But for a manager that's, especially when you have the result that you had in the Carabao Cup, and I was seeing some reports of you guys were trying to get these guys disqualified because they fielded a play. I'm like, don't be shameless. Don't be shameless and let those guys enjoy their win against Grimsby Town. When you have the result against Grimsby, you need a performance against City. That's just how it works. That's how it works. You don't get to have both. You don't get to pretty much no show against a team that you should be dog walking with your academy, and then also then get dog walked by a team that's better than you. I need. So are Grimsby better than you? They're not. So why did you lose that game? If you're gonna lose that game, you got to show some courage, some fight, some cojones when you go against your crosstown rivals. So yeah, there's no excuse in this loss. I feel like this was the one where I looked at. You've got the international break. Everybody's coming back refreshed. You got this buoyant team that you spent 200 million on your attack. Everybody's coming into the team. One game a week. There's nothing else distracting you besides every Premier League fixture that you have for the next 2-3 months, right? How are we seeing a performance that's that disjointed? And I know George is going to talk about the mistakes. We've talked in the group chat, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but even with the mistakes, even with the moments where I'm just like, what is this guy doing on the pitch? Why is that happening after over a week of preparation for you to go into this, one of the biggest games of your season? Because I'm sure to the local fans, City away and home, that's one of the biggest games of your season, regardless. So why are you going into the biggest game of your season and putting in that dud of a performance? And you can't blame Garnacho, you can't blame Rashford, you can't blame Jadon Sancho, you can't blame these guys. This are now the manager's guys that are in the team, and he's still not performing in these kinds of games. So I feel like it's a very, very worrying sign. I still think United have enough for top six. I do. I think there might need to be a managerial change for that to happen. Okay. I really do, because I don't think that his system platforms the best players on the team appropriately. And when you're a team that already has weaknesses and deficiencies all around the park, you need to platform your best players to their maximum. We saw Chelsea do it with Cole Palmer last season. They obviously had a huge gap in defense. They obviously had some weird midfield balance issues. They have the quality, they have the players, they have the personnel, but there was a lot of balance issues. Or do we play Caicedo and what's the other guy that came from Southampton? Lavia. Do we play?
Don't use Chelsea as an example.
No, I'm saying like there was there were holes. There were holes in the Chelsea
leave us out of this,
right?
Exactly.
And they platformed their best player, and they got the best out of him, and he got them all of their expectations. I think with a guy like Bruno Fernandes, routinely one of the highest chance creators in this league for the last 3-4 seasons. You then take him away from chance creating. It doesn't make any sense. You bought all these wingers and all these attackers, and then you're playing a system that platforms your wing backs as the source of creativity. Makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense to me. So for me, there either needs to be a managerial change or he has to tweak his system a little bit. You don't have to change the formation, but you have to change the positions that these players take up on the pitch.
He's saying he's not going to change. So
you got to get Bruno up close to the attackers, bro. You have
the thing is, let me answer one part, which is this is shameless. So I don't even care. After the Grimsby game, we did reply. We played Burnley and we got 3 points. So before the international break, that's fine. Let's clear that out of the way. No. Let's clear that out of the way.
Who even told you that you can reply during any of this? And that is the reply that you. I bet somebody else cook. Adams, please. Or you're about to play them, so you might want to.
Yeah. So I think first of all, like when Chooks used to tell me like 2 or 3 seasons ago, he was like, "Bro, when you're in a rebuild, you just have to stay humble." And that's the thing about Manchester United fans. Right from the jump this season, they played Arsenal and they thought they were in a title race. Bro, calm down.
Which United fan said that?
Nah, there are a couple. There are a couple that thought,
Well, I don't know which United fan you're talking to.
They went toe to toe with Arsenal, and that's the thing again, George, is that you think you only have the goal scoring efficiency, but no, even you concede goals, you concede chances and goals. So even if you score goals, they're always going to score. The other team is going to score. Forget those
chances. That's the most open back five.
I said that earlier. I mean, I agree with you.
Five at the back, and they look like they're playing Ange Highline, bro.
Adams, I agree with what you're saying because I said that earlier. I said regardless if you make the signings of the strikers, there's a hole in the midfield that if you can't fix it, it doesn't make the signings look any good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And that's the thing. Like we've been here before, right? We've been here before. Where it's like, they scored us. We had all these chances. If we could just score one of those chances, we'll probably have won the game. But nah, man, it's not. That's not really the issue, right? That's not really the issue. And Uzo said everything, right? He talked about the coach. I think the problem is the coach. And in this situation, right? I don't still understand how you still don't have a goalkeeper. Like, why are you starting a keeper? Why are you starting the season with?
They signed a goalkeeper though.
No, we signed a goalkeeper, but
did you sign him to be a starter, or that's like a backup option? I don't know.
He's gonna be a starter, right?
I've never heard of a goalkeeper needing time to get you.
He's gonna be a starter. But the thing about this club is, if you knew that you didn't want Onana to be your number one anymore, you have to go into the summer and sign the player. Don't sign him last minute. It doesn't make sense.
But goalkeepers can walk off the street and what tactic does he need to learn?
No, it's not about tactics, but it's like but it's not about tactics. It's like But the thing is though, you kept Onana in the team right throughout preseason, leading up to 1-2 game week 1, 2, 3. There's no reason Bayern there should be playing against Arsenal. There's no reason. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
there's a lot of confusion.
There are multiple issues. It's not just one. It's not just one thing.
Yeah.
Like if you fix that Onana issue and get a goalkeeper, there's still like 20 plus issues. So it's still like
at least you're fixing something.
They did. And that's the thing. You guys thought you did with the attackers, but you still can't score goals.
No, we
issue is that their vision is not coherent, and so even when you fix something, you find that it's not having an outsized effect. Like for example, let's assume and this is not an assumption because it's real. So if your house is leaking, for example, and I would like
your house is leaking.
I would like to use the metaphor, but it's actually not, right? So if your roof were leaking, for example, and then simultaneously you don't have power, and then simultaneously you need groceries in the kitchen, right? Those are all needs. And all those things are things you absolutely should handle. But if the first thing you do is go buy your groceries, there's a priority problem there, right? Your life does not improve as a result of your decision making. Mm-hmm. So that's what I think Man U's problem is, where they're identifying a bunch of problems they have. And fair enough, some of these things they are fixing are problems. But when you're as scattergun in your approach to fixing a problem, it will look like you're pouring water in a basket, because that's essentially what you're doing. It's better that you fix, they say the 80-20 rule, like fix the big thing, the one that will give you the most outsized effect. Plus, you have the money to do it, funny enough. So do something that actually makes your team much better first, and then go handle all the other.
I don't need to cut you off, Nugua, but that's the thing that really grinds my gears. Coming into this window is like they said they were broke. They said they didn't have no money. That's what they were saying. That's what I kept hearing.
I remember all those.
They were like United to sign even a loan player will have to sell like 2.
They were basically that 50 cents, this thing, like, bro, put money on this in front of the car.
Bro, I was legit thinking like, man, United might be done here because if they have to go into another season with this same squad, it's going to be peak. And then all of a sudden, you're hearing links for big money players, and the links are turning into bids. The bids are turning into signings, and they're not the players that they actually need. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me now. When you rebuild, you must always rebuild from the back. Get a goalkeeper, get the midfielders, get the center backs. And I do think United have a nice young center back core. I think it can get better, but they have a nice core. They're building that decently.
I think Euro is a really good talent.
Yeah, Euro is a great talent. I actually even like Aiden Heaven. I like him.
Yeah.
I think, speaking of Achampong, I think that's another guy that you can platform over the years, and he will grow into being a much better talent. But I wanted to see them go address the midfield. Why are you going into another season with Casemiro and Ugarte as still your primary options in midfield? That doesn't make any sense to me. So for me, the biggest issue was definitely the squad planning. And then the attack issue that they had is one that they created for them. I've been saying this till I'm blue in the face. Last 2 weeks, I've been saying the same thing. You created your attacking issue because you got attackers out of your club for whatever political, outside cultural issues who have performed in this league before. Garnacho has scored in this league.
Rashford has scored in this league. I can't wait for that game, man.
But the thing is, they didn't want. The thing is,
he's gonna sit on that.
They didn't want to be in the club.
They're gonna stone him.
If you don't want to be in the club, we can't keep you in the club. Like
I think some of it is political, though. I think some of it because Rashford. When Amorim first came, Rashford was in the team and he was scoring, and then suddenly after a brace, he was nowhere to be found. He suddenly decided he didn't want to play again. Spare me.
No. Rashford, his own issues. Trust me, I'm a Rashford. Like I will defend Rashford, right? But when you're going out clubbing, right, knowing your club is not doing well, it doesn't bode well. Like even if you're a good player, like we're not in the boat where it's like, okay, we can let this player off with this because we're winning titles. Back in the day, I know Rooney used to go to the club and do whatever he want, but that you can let that slide because hey, we're winning titles. Rooney will come in and give you 20 goals a season and win you the title. Right now, we're not in a state where it's like, oh yeah, we're not winning nothing. So if you're going out and doing these things, it doesn't bode well in the club. And other players are gonna see that and be like, why is
allegedly? I don't know if it was at the club. Allegedly.
Man,
for me, United, the thing is like to yab them is fun, but it's also crazy because in your mind you're kind of seeing the issues like it's not that hard to fix.
It's not that hard to fix.
It's really not that hard to fix these niggas. And it's like you look at Mbeumo, how bad he looked today, for example, hypothetically. Who remembers the formation that Thomas Frank played the most last season when Brentford had all their injuries?
3-5-2.
God bless you. So if it's the same formation, fine. It's he plays a different.
This is more of a 3-5-2.
Yes, he plays like the second behind the main striker at United, whereas there was a part of a pure front two. But the point is, there's still that 3-5-2 formation, right? And you're still seeing players look extremely competent, players that nobody can deny are not on the quality of Manchester United players. And that's why, for me, it remains a coaching issue, right? Like, I look at the talent in their squad, even this bad midfield that I like being bad. I've looked at it and like they're still not a 15th place team.
They're not like so bad. I'm watching Jordan Henderson spray one-time pass.
Don't get me wrong. I'm happy they have those players.
So explain to me how does Amorim take players with lower quality like Sporting, go to Manchester City and dominate them?
We'll get into that on
and I used to be.
No. My thing is,
it's a direct reply to what the excuses for Poch.
No, I'm not trying to make an excuse. I'm trying to give a direct reply to what he said.
No. But the reality is, it's a bigger job. It's a step up.
Huh?
This is a bigger job. The expectation is to win. When you have no expectation on you, it's easy to overperform. It's easy to motivate players when you tell them, "Oh, you're cast aside. They don't think you're as good as them. Go out there." Now you're coaching the guys that they're telling the other guys that they're not as good as them. So now you go get these guys to perform to their level. That's the job of the coach. I don't want to hear any excuses. But
You're
honestly,
100% correct, Uzo. And just to add to that, right? When those Sporting players are playing against Manchester City, Victor Gyökeres is thinking, if I score here, this game. Before this game, he's thinking, this game is my chance to make the Premier League know that they shouldn't look at Portuguese league. Because if I can beat the best team in their league, all of them will go, actually, yeah, he scored it. And then he goes and does what against City last year? Scores a hat trick.
Yep.
And check it out.
Mind you, that was a very bad City team anyway, so that's not the best example.
Fine, you're not wrong, but I'm
City,
going to because
City,
he brought
yeah.
the Sporting rebuttal.
No, I'm saying
right?
that to the Amorim thing, yeah, like
Yeah, because I'm
going
going there because the Sporting rebuttal. The point I'm making is that all these guys go there and put in their mind, this is the final. So it's a different context. Of course, they'll play with their last strength. Because for them, as we say in Benin, they die put. So that's what they're going to do there. Now, United, Amorim's job is different. He's not trying to get them to play the game of their lives against City. He's getting them to be Manchester United. It's a different chatter.
Plus, Amorim was trying to get a job.
That's why I say he's already out of.
Amorim himself was auditioning for a job. It
was
was
trying
the
to get a
final
job.
for him.
You are 100% correct, Adam. Because that's what he was doing. He was auditioning like if we come there, we're like, but now it's a different. You're in the job now. This has to be your everyday. And it's one thing to get yourself up for a big day once a year.
Yeah.
It's another thing to get that the standard is that big day is your everyday.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the problem I'm already.
Yeah.
But George, before you respond, so we are at an hour 40 minutes, so we're gonna try to round up. So I'll give you the last word on United, but don't say rubbish or I'll mute your mic. I'll give you the last word on United in terms of. I know you already said you want to wait 10 games to see, but forecasting to next week what you expect, and just kind of respond to what you need to respond to. But 30 seconds because I need to feel about Spurs.
I feel like the club knows that Amorim is not going to change. Why don't you bring him the players that he wants? He wanted midfielders. Go and get him those midfielders so he can play the way he wants. So you don't make those excuses. Going into the game against Chelsea, I'm saying this right now. We'll win that game, and we'll win that game in the first half too because Chelsea at Old Trafford is we love that. We love that game. This is a confidence booster going into, it's going to propel our season. I know that. I know that for sure. So the final words is I hope the club can give Ruben Amorim exactly what he needs to play the way he wants to play. Chelsea, that's a +3 for us. So after 10 games, we can revisit this episode and talk about this again.
Nah, Adams, the way they look at you is the way you look at us. Confidence boost. But yeah, this has actually been a very riveting episode. Like I didn't even notice that an hour and 40 went.
I didn't notice.
We do have to round up. I'm gonna run through the Spurs stuff. Nobody can respond. So whatever outlandish claim I make, you just have to accept it as fact. And then after I do that, I want to run through everybody and you just give your top 6 prediction. Top six. We're not gonna do relegation. We're not gonna do anything else. Top 6 prediction.
No,
and then
Black Cats
we'll
are
run
staying up though.
The last time you jinxed Luton, you won't come and jinx another team. Leave Sunderland alone, man. And they're giving us Africans back in the Premier League. Leave them alone. But yeah, so for Spurs, the result from last week, Bournemouth. Oh man, I'm so glad we didn't do an episode because what would I have been able to say? That was an absolute blaming. Those guys came into our own stadium, and mind you, that's the 3rd win in a row that they've had at our stadium, and the 4th win in a row in the league. So and Iraola was actually on the list of the managers that I wanted at my club. It was Iraola, Frank, and Glasner. Those would be my top 3 options. And I would have been okay with whoever we got. But to see one of my other kind of like admired managers slap up my curve, I was like, oh no, man. But I don't want to talk about Iraola, but he's doing an amazing job. To lose your entire back line and pretty much going there, they looked good against Liverpool. They haven't lost any games since, and they absolutely deserved to. That should have been 3-4. So that was definitely a wake-up call. I do think that Frank got the team wrong. So I give him kind of like grace there because you're learning the team. You're learning who you can count on. You're learning partnerships, etc. That left-hand side was bad. We had Jet Spence, Brennan Johnson, and Mickey van der Ven all on the same side of the field. None of them are good on the ball. And so all Iraola did was just overpress the right, force the ball to the left. And as soon as they got on the left, they collapsed on the left and we lost the ball. It was literally rinse and repeat. I was watching the highlights. is like you just see the ball go to the left, they crash on us, they get the ball, they attack. And it was over and over and over and over. I was like, man, for the manager not to like notice that and change that, that was kind of worrying. So my fear of kind of like, is he going to learn on the job? And it's kind of the same things I was saying when Arteta first took the job at Arsenal is learning on the job at a big club always feels weird to me because you're in Champions League, you're in, at the time they were in Europa League, but you're in all these competitions that you're not in at small clubs. So you can't just be learning. You got to learn fast. You got to like start delivering results. So I'm glad that he talked specifically about learning from that game. I was glad to hear that, and he did a lot of things different in the game this week. And I thought this week's was a perfect game. That's the exact kind of game that I love. We've been on a run of losing every London derby, losing to Chelsea home and away, losing to Arsenal home and away, losing to West Ham home and away, losing to Fulham home. Like Ange had us in the mud. We're going everywhere in London, and that song was actually true. Spurs were getting battered every single ground that we went to. So it felt good to go to a ground in London. We haven't won at West Ham in 6 seasons. We haven't won at West Ham in 6 seasons. So that was the first time we went to the City Ground, and we actually
George, take notes. Take notes.
we actually went in there, and we were the better team. The first half was bad, but the second half we grew into the game. Good to see Javi Simmons make his debut. That was probably my favorite signing of the window, just in the way that it came after the Eze thing, because the fan base was on. It was that thing that they do on Twitter. Now we're on the last health bar. Our health bar was blinking red. They were about to finish us off. So that signing kind of restored our faith in the season. I mean, it was good to see him get an assist. So we avoided 007. You know, that's always good. Sesko, take notes.
Like
Sesko, take notes. But
hey,
as
man,
far as the transfer window,
don't say that. They're playing us next. Don't say
what?
that.
Doesn't Buemo have an assist yet?
No, he scored.
He scored, man.
He scored a banger. He scored a banger. He scored a banger against. He scored a goal against Burnley. Yeah. He scored a banger.
Wait, watch Sesko score against Chelsea. That's just a Chelsea thing.
No, that's such a Chelsea thing for you guys to get him up and running.
You know the funny thing is
Sesko and Garnacho on the score sheet.
No, you know the funny thing
I wouldn't mind it.
The funny thing is Chelsea hasn't played a good team yet.
They've had an easy start. That part is true.
Yeah, they haven't played.
We're still not playing one. We're not playing one next week.
You played West Ham.
Yeah. All 5 of the teams to start their season didn't finish in the top 10 last year, including United.
So that's where I have a Chelsea best friend, and that's where he's scared because at the start of the season, we both said Arsenal has a hell start, and for him, it was like, oh, we have a great start, and so
you're expecting 15 for Chelsea.
They should be top of the league, but they're not.
In the same rough ballpark. So
when you put in the context of losing our best defender and not replacing him,
you sound like an Arsenal fan. You sound like an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. So.
But to round off on Spurs, I'll say this: the transfer window was the best we've ever had, simply because of my banner. We got rid of this bald guy that has been holding the team back for decades. So finally, we're gonna get some new organizational structure, and I'm so excited for the future for Spurs.
Aren't you getting an Arsenal guy, an ex?
We already got him, Vinay.
Yeah,
and you know what? I was so pissed at him because how do you not know the Eze thing was gonna happen? You ain't got no friends at Arsenal still, bro. Did you just off your phone? Nobody could tip you off like, hey, look, we're about to do something really embarrassing.
Why the hell? I don't understand. Why the hell would any Arsenal person call him and tell him that? Why?
Doesn't he have relationships?
Nah, he should have friends, though.
Like, you got to have a leak.
You had friends.
Call Win the dog. Call Win the dog. Let Win the dog tell you. Or Gonasaurus, one of those guys. You got to have some friends.
You have friends. Everyone has friends.
Like, isn't that embarrassing? You leave a job where you were the CEO before. You come to a new job and they pull your pants. Like, that's a bad sign. You ain't got no relationships, really? Anyways, but we got Levy out of the door. I think now his role is going to be broken up into different people doing their specialized roles. And that's what we've always needed. Just everybody doing what they're good at instead of one guy trying to do the whole thing and thinking he's Jerry Jones. So I think it's looking good for Spurs. I'm going to round off on that. I'm very excited for the season. I'll start off with my predictions, and then the way we're going to go is Adams will go with his, George, and then we'll close out with Nugua. So for me, I already teased it earlier. I think City are going to win the league. I think it's going to be one of those things where everyone's going to be like, what? We didn't see this coming. Yeah. Don't kill Pep until he's ready to die. The blood on his forehead from last year hasn't dried yet. He's coming for this league. So I got City winning the league. I think for a change, Liverpool gets second and Arsenal get third. But it can obviously flip-flop. I think they'll all be in the race until the end. I think City nicked the league. Liverpool gets second. Arsenal get third. screams and cries in the valley of N5, and I will love every second of it. Fourth place, it was so Chelsea, but the way they've started the league, they've given me the chance to say this. I think Spurs get fourth. Spurs get fourth. I've got Chelsea fifth, and I've got United sixth. That's my top six. I think it's going to be a traditional top six for the first time in forever. And whoever doesn't make it, I'm going to clown you for busting my prediction. Go ahead, Adams.
I think it's Arsenal's year. I think Arsenal wins.
You say this every year. That exact phrase. He says that exact phrase.
I said that last year, though. I said that last year. But yeah, I think Arsenal win the league, man. Like they've just been. It just feels. Nah, they look too good this season. They look too good this season. And last year, remember last year I said I was scared for them in Champions League. I thought they were going to win the Champions League, and I was holding my breath after that Madrid game because they looked
as we all were.
Yeah, they looked like a cup team last year. They looked so good, like a traditional Champions League team. I thought they were going to win Champions League, but this year I think they're going to win the league, and I think they might make the final of the Champions League.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
in the world that you've created, I will die. What kind of evil Armageddon have you created here?
Yeah, and yeah, so of course I don't want them to win, but I think they might win. And Liverpool second. Look, man, I was gonna say Chelsea third, but I'm not sure anymore. So I'm just gonna go City third and Chelsea fourth. Spurs fifth, and I've not decided if Manchester. Let's see what they do against Chelsea first. But for now, I'll just put Newcastle at sixth. But let's see how they do against Chelsea before I make up my mind on the sixth position.
George.
Yeah, I think kind of just like honestly what everybody's saying. That top six is going to be very traditional. I think United will finish sixth, Chelsea fifth. No. Yeah, Chelsea fifth, Spurs. It's just because if you ask me beginning of the season, if Spurs was going with, I don't know when they got Frank, but the way they've been playing and after what they did to Manchester City, I can see them being fourth or fifth. So it's interchangeable between Chelsea and Spurs in that fourth, fifth position. But for the show, I'm going to put Spurs fourth, and I'm going to put Chelsea fifth. So the final positions, that Arsenal Liverpool is to me is too close. Is way too close. It literally can be anything. But on this show, I can never say Arsenal will win the title. I can never say it, bro. Come on, man. But I would say you guys will. It will be one like it could literally go to the last game of the season, like it was with Manchester City. But I can never say you guys will win the title. So I would just. This even sucks to say. I would say Liverpool will win the title because then it will they will overpass us. I think they will have 21.
Nah, Manchester United, man.
No, I think
you're not involved in these conversations, brother.
So they will have 21, but that they can have the 21. That's fine. So Liverpool top, Arsenal second, Manchester City third, Spurs fourth, Chelsea fifth, and United sixth.
That's great. So I think for me, I'll start with sixth, and for me, I think the sixth team this season will be Newcastle. I think that the fact that they're no longer that team that needs to depend on Isak will give them a lot more positives than negatives. And I've seen it in the first few games where they don't have the cheats they did before up front to bail them out. And so they are building habits that as a fan you may hate, but are better for the team long term, i.e. they're learning processes to play and actually break the team down versus lump it up there to Isak or play in the channel to Isak or just have your Superman do that. So I think they sneak sixth. And I think that's at the expense of the Manchester United I'm currently seeing. I think the fifth team will be Chelsea. And that's only because Chelsea and Spurs in my mind are around the same level. Mm-hmm. But I have always, and it's not just today, Uzo knows this, I am a very firm believer in the ministry of Thomas Frank. And when Arteta was, in my mind, if Arteta left, Thomas Frank was my next name. That's how highly I rate him.
And I think that next man.
You don't have to agree, but that's my opinion of Thomas Frank. And I think it's going to show, and they're going to be fourth. And then that comes to the top three. And I do believe that City's defensive weakness, assuming today is not the norm and today only look like today because it's Manchester United they played, I think City's defensive weakness is what will get them out of that title race. And so that's why they are third. And it becomes a shot between Liverpool and Arsenal, which I fully agree with George that it is almost 50-50. And obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan. I am going to go to Arsenal. But even aside from my bias, I do think that there was a gamble made this summer. And Liverpool bet one way, Arsenal bets the other. Liverpool bets that just get the actual best talents in the world and blow everyone out of the water. Arsenal bets that the league, because of the Champions League schedule, has become 2 parallel league seasons, and so it's an endurance race. Liverpool believes it's a sprint. Arsenal believes it's a marathon. And their transfer windows both showed that both of them believe these things. I think Arsenal's bets will be proven correct at the end of the season, and I think we win the title.
That's very profound. You know, that's a good way to.
That's
a good
what
way
you
to
say
end the episode.
at the end of it. Yeah.
That's I like that. I like that analogy at the end. Endurance
Yeah, we have to clip that, man. We have to clip that.
Yeah, for sure. Because you know they sprinted last year. They dusted you guys. You guys were running marathon. you know like those Kenyan runners.
And so that last season is literally why I think we made the gamble we made.
Yeah.
Everybody forgets that Liverpool gassed out in February, but we had injuries. We could not just meet up.
Right, true.
They should do the exact same thing they did last season again this season. Now that I have a bench, I want them to do it.
I can't wait for this season. I cannot wait. Real quick, just as we round up, Golden Boot, anybody? Are we going Haaland again?
Yeah, it's Haaland, bro.
It's Haaland.
I'm going Haaland.
They create too many chances. It's Haaland.
Yeah, just.
No Gyökeres as well. I thought you would.
It's not. Gyökeres will score his goals. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but it's Haaland,
you don't need to win the Golden Boot to win the title, so I don't care about that. I need him to score enough so you can get off his back, and he's doing that. He's not going to win the Golden Boot, but
that ball striking that hit that shot that hit the bar, I was like,
I'm okay.
Rivals
can't talk shit if he scores 15 and win the title.
Nah, we need 20.
Yeah. Once he wins, 20. Bro.
I'm saying maybe, who's up maybe, but if he scores 15,
not. You can't score less than Chris Wood now.
Nah, 15.
You can't score less than Chris Wood.
Come on,
I'm telling you that if he scores 15 and we win the title, that part is important.
Yeah, man, I don't care too. Like if I was an Arsenal fan,
I give it.
No, that's fair. Winning the title, yeah, that's fair. He can even score 10 and win.
Yeah, if he scores 10 and you win the title,
if he scores 10,
he has already scored what? He has scored 4 goals, right?
Yeah, that's 4.
He has 4, so like he's already, bro. He's scoring for.
No, he has 3. Why are you guys adding goals?
Adams, bro.
No, you said you agree with him. Adam, end this episode, man. End this episode. You guys are starting to cap. We need that HMRC guy to review this episode. Put a kid at that.
Oh man. Who's scoring more, George? Sesko or Pedro?
I see what you're trying to do.
Sesko or Montemade.
No, Pedro's already has like how many goals already?
Just two.
We didn't give Pedro love, but wow.
Just
you know?
Nah, I think Pedro scored more because this is not his first time in the league, bro. You know this. He's been playing in the league.
His problem has always been staying fit. At Brighton, has always He'll get one injury that will keep him out for 3 months. Then he'll come back and take 2 months to get back up to speed. And before you know it, the season is over.
Yeah,
but he's a quality player. I hope he stays.
I think he'll score more than Sesko. That's to answer your question, Adams. Yeah. But ask me who's going to win the game.
You got to see it. You got to see it.
I can't wait for this, man. End this episode, please, before I say something that will get our show canceled.